Welcome to the Fleet Geeks podcast. We're here to help develop fleet and transport professionals. Do you want to progress and develop your skills and knowledge? We promise to bring lively conversation and debate around interesting issues and keep you bang up to date with changes in our awesome industry. The Fleet Geeks are a community of professionals, and if you enjoy the podcast, why not join the discussion for free in the Fleet Geek community over on Facebook.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Fleet Geeks podcast. Bit of a nightmare today. I'm having to record without my usual microphone, so I'm hoping the sound quality comes out okay. And please do bear with me. I'll be back to normal next time. But this is what happens when you take some annual leave. And here I am recording in the evening straight to my laptop because I forgot to bring my microphone with me. What a nightmare. Anyway, I'm here to talk about a recent tribunal decision where an appeal was allowed for RT International Transport Ltd. I'll share the link in the show notes. They'd uploaded their TM1 form for nominating a new transport manager within the period of grace that had been granted. However, they had failed to send a hard copy with a wet signature, in quotes, wet signature, to the Office of the Traffic Commissioner within the period of grace. It was then found by the Traffic Commissioner that because this hadn't been received within time, that they'd revoked the operator's licence, and the operator themselves had then appealed that decision to the upper tribunal, and the upper tribunal has upheld that appeal. They've said that there is no evidence that the operator was either instructed or required by the rules to provide a hard copy with a wet signature to the Office of the Traffic Commissioner in these circumstances, and therefore the appeal was allowed. The matter was remitted to the Traffic Commissioner for them to consider and, if appropriate, approve the nomination. The operator is put on notice that the Traffic Commissioner may wish to call a public inquiry to consider financial standing or a change in directors or any other regulatory concerns that may have arisen since the nomination was made. So what does it all mean? What does this all mean? So the decision meant that RT International had their operator's licence revoked by the Traffic Commissioner because they had uploaded online the TM1 form, which was compliant, and that was nominating a new transport manager and within the grace period. However, they had failed to send a hard copy with a wet signature to the Traffic Commissioner, which had then been treated as an omission that was fatal and revoked their licence. The upper tribunal was overturned, allowed this appeal. The tribunal had found no evidence that the rules required a hard copy with a wet signature, or that the operator had been instructed to do so. Because of that, the RT's licence revocation was held to be unjustified. So they've ordered that this matter was remitted, i.e. sent back to the Traffic Commissioner for reconsideration, including possibly approving the nomination for the new transport manager. However, the Traffic Commissioner is warned they may hold a public inquiry if there are fresh issues to assess, like financial standing or any other changes in directors.
Hi, I'm Shani from Flagship Partners. We're proud to sponsor the Fleet Geeks podcast, your go-to source for all things fleet management. If you're looking for expert advice or high-quality training for your fleet business, make Flagship Partners your first choice. We're also thrilled to announce the launch of our Fleet Academy, designed to support and develop future fleet leaders through expert-led and career-focused training. Our offering includes fully accredited courses such as the Transport Manager CPC training, CPC refresher courses, OLAC training, plus ongoing mentoring, support and professional development beyond the qualification. Our vision is simple: to develop elite fleet professionals who drive excellence across the industry. Let's shape the future of our fleet management together.
However, in effect, this means the upper tribunal held that the revocation was wrong in law and sent back to the Traffic Commissioner. So the appeal process, tribunal process, is quite complex, but essentially Traffic Commissioners make decisions regarding operators' licence, revocations, suspensions, conditions, and they may be appealed to the upper tribunal, administrative appeals chamber. The appeal is not a full rehearing. You're appealing on the points of law that is errors in law, legal reasoning, misdirection, failure to consider relevant facts, acting outside the rules. You cannot generally introduce any new evidence that wasn't before the Traffic Commissioner previously. and then the tribunal reviews the existing material. There is a time limit. It needs to be done within 1 month of the Traffic Commissioner's decision or being notified, and there's no fee for appealing decisions. The appeal form should clearly identify the grounds of appeal for legal errors being alleged, and you must send a copy of the appeal to the Traffic Commissioner whose decision is being challenged. There's quite a big process involved in the appeal process and hearing the appeal. But the key lessons are important. So formality matters. Sometimes decisions hinge on procedural strictness, like the wet signature issue in this particular case. Always check whether the rules really require what the regulator demands. So in RT's case, the tribunal found the regulator overstepped by requiring what was not legally mandated. The grounds are narrow. You can't justify or just argue it was unfair. You must show a legal flaw. For example, a misapplication of law, failure to consider relevant factor, or taking into account irrelevant factors. The threshold. A tribunal must find the original decision was plainly wrong or legally justifiable. Early action is critical. File within the time limits and apply for a stay if needed. If you wait too long, it might be too late or you can lose leverage. Prepare good documentation and arguments. The strength of the appeal often lies in the clarity of the structure law and reference to prior legal authorities. And just because you remit it doesn't guarantee success. Even if your appeal is allowed and the matter is sent back, you'll still reface examination by the TC and possibly fresh inquiries. You need to be ready for that. And don't neglect public interest, safety, credibility. In appeals dealing with licenses and regulation, courts and tribunals give weight to safety, credibility of management and past compliance. If a regulator raises new concerns, you'll need to address those, okay? So I just thought that was a bit of an interesting one to pick up on the podcast. RT International Transport, very interesting upper tribunal decision there. And useful for all of us to look at those things to make sure we keep on top of them and that kind of thing. Obviously, I recommend, as always, if you need support, make sure you follow the legal process, make sure you seek legal counsel, get the right solicitors involved, and Flagship Partners are always here to help. Thank you very much for listening, and see you all on a future podcast. Thank you. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please share with your friends and colleagues too. Join us for free on Facebook with the Fleet Geeks community for transport and fleet managers. Fleet Geeks offers ongoing professional development, networking and mentoring too. So get in touch with me, Pete Rushmer, on any social media platform to find out more.